Former South Carolina Representative Robin Tallon Jr. last served in Congress in 1993. But 25 years since he last held office, his campaign account is still thriving and he's still using that money. With no apparent run for office in his near future, Tallon has paid for computers with this cash. According to campaign finance reports, he has also reimbursed himself thousands of dollars for unknown reasons, and he has paid a salary to his son. Tonight, a closer look at how the money donated to Tallon's run for office a quarter-century ago has grown to more than $1 million. And I'm going to tell you what one watchdog group is doing to make sure the Federal Election Commission's rules are clear about what should happen to this money when an office holder or a candidate is done with politics.
Senator Pryor, thank you, and it's a real pleasure to be here this morning.
From 1983 to 1993, Robin Tallon Jr. served as a Democrat representing South Carolina's 6th District in Congress, which back then included the area from Darlington to Myrtle Beach.
I have press packets available for you with a copy of the bill and a summary.
In those 10 years, he was the primary sponsor of only 2 bills that were signed into law by the president, according to a website that tracks the United States Congress.
Madam Chair, as much as I'd like to say so, it is not a pleasure for me to be here today.
And at one point, he even fought against the federal government's closure of the Myrtle Beach Air Force Base back in 1990.
Still, they're slashing away at, in my opinion, many tried and true military bases without much rhyme or reason.
But what may be more notable than his work in Congress is what he's been doing since leaving politics. His thriving campaign account, with more than $1 million in the bank, according to Tallon's last Federal Election Commission filing in April of 2018, would lead you to believe there could be another run for office in his future. But as of today, and for the last 25 years, there have been no formal announcements about any such plans. Even though he's not campaigning, he is spending. Computers, reimbursements for himself, even a salary for his son. I looked through hundreds of pages of Tallon's FEC filings, and I found that thousands of dollars from his campaign committee's account were going right back into his own pocket. The FEC says campaign account cash can be used to reimburse a candidate, but the money can only be for bona fide campaign-related expenses. And in Tallon's case, he doesn't give a clear reason for how dollars paid to himself were used. I talked to Brendan Fisher with the Campaign Legal Center via Skype about these reimbursements, and he called them problematic.
In many ways, Robin Tallon is the poster child for the problems with zombie campaigns, with former office holders leaving their campaign accounts open for decades and using them as informal retirement funds.
Tallon's FEC filings also detail a pattern of payments totaling thousands of dollars for his son, Robert Tallon III, who is listed as the committee's treasurer. FEC officials say family members are permitted to work as paid campaign staff, but the problem with Tallon's campaign is there isn't one.
One challenge when we're talking about a former office holder like Robin Tallon is that when he is no longer mounting an active campaign, it's difficult to see what the justification is for paying thousands of dollars to a family member for treasurer duties or for compliance purposes.
Other notable payments from Tallon's campaign account include these. In 2007, Tallon put nearly $4,000 towards a Dell computer, and then again in 2014, he bought another computer for more than $2,000. And just last year, Tallon spent almost $1,000 on an iPad. But when I asked the FEC if anyone makes sure these purchases are being used solely for official campaign business, in a written statement, FEC's Deputy Press Officer Christian Hillen said, "Not exactly."
It's a recipe for corruption. It's a recipe for problems to arise if a former office holder can use their leftover campaign funds as an informal retirement account.
I tried to talk to Tallon myself, going to 2 different addresses listed for him and his committee. No one answered the door during either attempt.
Doesn't look like anyone's home.
Though we couldn't get Tallon to go on camera to clarify his spending for us, The Campaign Legal Center has asked the FEC to clarify how campaign funds can be used by former candidates and office holders.
I think there's a strong argument that many former office holders are in fact violating the law as currently written, but the widespread nature of this problem indicates that there is some ambiguity about the FEC's rules.
The Campaign Legal Center is also asking the FEC to set a clearer time limit for just how long a former office holder's campaign account can remain open. And the FEC seems to be listening. Starting with reports filed in July, the commission will begin reviewing dormant committees' use of campaign funds more closely.
The FEC has signaled that they recognize that there is a problem and recognize that former office holders should not be keeping their campaign accounts open for decades. And I would expect that former members of Congress like Robin Tallon are going to be much more careful moving forward with how they're spending leftover campaign funds.
Just within the last hour, I have been in touch with Tallon, and he sent me this statement in response to a list of questions I sent him regarding his campaign account. He said, quote, "I've never used 1 cent of this money for personal use, have given away to charitable causes many thousands of dollars, and have actively managed the investments in this account to increase over $1 million. I'm currently setting up 2 charitable foundations, one to help young people manage their income and acquire wealth, and another to focus on helping economic development in the rural areas of the PD." He went on to say, finally, we have followed an intent and letter of the law. One might argue it should be changed because of the ambiguity. I also asked him why his campaign account has been open for so long, and did he ever intend to run again? He said, quote, "Yes, check newspaper reports, encouraged to run for governor and U.S. senator many times." Tallon says he would be willing to do a phone interview with me later this week to answer more of my questions. I'll share that online and on air here on WMBF News should it happen.